Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and with me today I have Brian
Hello.
and Ryan.
Hello.
And we are talking week 9 for the final week for the LCS. My upset picks didn't start terrible, to be honest. I had FlyQuest beat C9, miracle. Golden Guardians do pretty good against 100 Thieves. And then Echo Fox and Clutch Gaming both with kind of throws, and I'm just like, Echo Fox more so. We'll talk about that later on. That Echo Fox TSM game
Thank you. Yeah.
was much more so. But then TSM they did garbage as well. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the game. So Brock actually won the week, and Ryan. Oops, you both went 6-4, and me and Brian went 5-5. So unfortunately, I made zero ground on Brian for first place. So now I have to pick all 10 different than him this week as I am 8 down. I could pick 8, but 10 different just sounds better, and it makes every game matter. I have to go either 10-0 or 9-1, which is probably not going to happen since Brian gets first pick on every game today.
Hmm.
So,
I mean, we could
All
do
I
like the LEC thing where we can kind of like jump back and forth.
well, yeah, but
Just for
this time I
fairness.
just need. I we made a pact before the podcast that he allowed me to pick different than him just to keep it competitive for like the first game.
I gotcha.
Because once we get past the first game, if I lose more than one, I'm out. So.
Good guy Brian giving you the handicap, I
Yep.
guess.
Yep. And I know
Yeah.
you're gonna pull it back if I actually go 9-1 or 10-0.
I feel like if you go 9-1 at that point, you just kind of deserve it.
Yeah,
All
that's
I have to do is just pick TL, CLG, and C9 to go 6-0 basically
yeah,
this
and
week,
you
and
just
I
cannot have them go 1-5 or 0-6.
yeah.
There's no way that happens. Especially
That's why I didn't really care.
Team Liquid over Echo Fox. I have to pick Echo Fox.
Hey, I mean
Team
they
Liquid
they
over
hold the head to
TSM, are you
head.
kidding?
They do hold yeah, seriously, that one too. But yeah, they do hold the head to head. Anyway, let's get into the games. Let me pull up actually some notes. And first up, we had Team Liquid versus Optic. This game was actually all in Optic's favor for a large majority of the game. Outside of Impact kind of just bullying Dokla up in top lane. And I think, what was it, Crumbs on the analyst desk said that Impact absorbed, if this was the correct game, 44k damage, and Poppy absorbed 30k damage. So what's the point of picking Poppy if Impact's gonna do way more damage and actually tank more than Poppy's gonna tank just because of his absurd healing on Aatrox? Now that there's no revive, they buffed the healing a lot, and it actually is more of a buff than it was. Everyone assumed it was gonna be a nerf kind of situation.
Mhm.
But
It might have been either this game or it might have been the second Optic game because it was a Poppy versus Aatrox match where Haunter just kind of smacked Dokla pretty bad
yeah,
in lane.
I think that one also. I think that one of those they brought it up and like, why are they picking Poppy here?
Yeah,
Because they lost both
didn't
times. They went
work.
0-2 with Poppy against Aatrox, and it worked. It looked pretty bad. Though Crown
Aatrox had a
was
pretty
having.
good weekend
Oh
overall,
yeah, for sure.
except TSM.
Crown was dominating with Corky though. That was very scary as a Team Liquid fan to watch. He was just bursting people down. I think double and Meteos, Crown, Optic went in with the correct game plan. This is exactly what they need to do against Team Liquid. You just need to dive, double lift over and over and over again. And it's probably super tilting to play against his double lift, where I think he died 3 times. Yeah, let's see. They died as 2 right here at about 8, where was that? First blood, 9 minutes. And then they died before 10 minutes again, and then they died again at before 11 minutes. So they died 3 times, and 4 times as a total on the bot lane, but 3 deaths just on double lift alone in under 3 minutes. Like they just constantly were diving bot lane. That's how you beat Team Liquid for sure.
Optic single-handedly ruining Core JJ and Double F's KDA on the
Oh, for
season.
sure. Like they were just abusing them, and then they killed them again. Yeah, they killed them yet again. So they, as a bot lane, Team Liquid's bot lane died 6 times. Yeah, 6 times before the 14-minute mark, before turret plates went away, which usually results in a very solid victory with the Draven getting that far ahead. Unfortunately, Aatrox is with the new patch getting super mega buffed, and then when I thought the game was actually over, was that fight right before Baron, where Dokla made an amazing, where Impact went in actually and tried to hit Crown right in the river over here, and because Crown stepped up and Impact tried to knock him up with the Q, Dokla immediately flashed and headbutted Impact into the wall and just instantly stunned him, got him burst out. And since Impact was pretty much all of Team Liquid's gold, like for the they just immediately got ace 5 for none and gave up Baron for it. But after that, like during that Baron, Optic did pretty much nothing with it. They literally, what did they take? Didn't they take just like the second mid tower as
Yeah.
Impact solo took the inhib tower? Like you got 5 people with Baron after winning a team fight 5-0 with a massive 5.5k gold, even 6k gold lead, or no, that'd been 5.5k when that happened. But you had 5.5k gold lead, and you just gave up an inhib tower and didn't get a single inhib tower of yourself. That's really bad. I thought it was really poor by Optic.
Yeah. I feel like one thing I actually noticed a lot, and it's something that was kind of kudos to Optic, especially like in terms of their skirmishing and team fighting this game, is something I actually took a note on was just how many good uses of stopwatch they got this
Oh,
game.
so many.
So many times Jensen was like right on the verge of ulting someone in and just getting his ult passive and just cleaning up a fight, and then stopwatch comes in, he can't do anything, and then they just get away. And then it all came around to when Optic is actually sieging in mid lane, and they go in, and then they go in on Impact. Impact just buys time with stopwatch, gets enough time. Then Jensen finally hits a Yasuo, gets a knockup, gets an ult. No one on Optic has stopwatch, and then they just
They're all
completely just
out.
wipe a fight.
Yep.
That's the Yasuo team fight. All it takes is one, and then the entire game just completely swung back around.
Yeah, I think the Optic, like you were saying with the stopwatches, pretty much turned 3 deaths into like 3 or 4 kills with 0 deaths on top of it. Like they were so well executed early on, and it really helped them snowball early. But like you said, unfortunately, they lost it right here, and then they lost it right there. Like it was like once they lost that one team fight, you're like, oh no. I was like, oh
That was-
yes, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's credit the Team Liquid. That's just how good they are as a team. Like, all it takes is one mistake, and they just can completely just recoup all of their losses for a game. And then they have the shot calling and like the veteran knowledge to actually just completely just roll the game from there and take complete control and run it all the way back down for a win.
yeah, exactly. That's very
Optic
well said.
Optic looked good,
They did look
but
good.
they just had a couple hiccups here and there, and they kind of overstayed a little bit, especially in that mid lane. They Meteos like kind of just went a little too far deep in,
Without
left
Crown,
himself
too.
vulnerable. Yeah, and so they end up losing basically any sort of ground they gain. So, game of inches, and you gave Team Liquid one, and they just took a mile off of it.
Game number 2, we had C9 versus FlyQuest. Oh boy.
Got Deathly's debut on C9.
Definitely his debut. And you had Licorice on the Kled. We don't see that too often. I feel like we see enough AD Twisted Fate that we don't need to bring it up as much anymore as a surprising pick.
It's the resurgence of Kled post 9.14.
Yeah, and I like the Ezreal Yumi bot lane because it provides a lot of poke and you can use a lot of utility with the dash. I just feel like it's very squishy as a bot lane. If against Nautilus Kaisa, Nautilus just has to land one hook and you're dead type situation.
I mean, Nautilus did come out like initially when Yumi was first out and like super busted as a champion as like the sort of go-to counter pick in support role to fighter because he was like one of the few champions that could punish her deattach reattach mechanic.
Yeah.
Like he could just if he could just hook her and time it right, she can actually pull her right out, and then that goes on cooldown. And they can just kill her immediately.
Because you can immediately get the follow with the auto attack for the root, and then she's so squishy she's pretty much dead by that point. And then you can ult the ADC or whoever's right behind her, who she's trying to get to, so then she gets knocked up in the air. It's a very hard counter. And then Kaisa with Nautilus is just a really strong combo because of the passive for the plasma. It just adds so much to it. So
Kaisa was a really good pick for Fly this game, especially because they draft basically full like front to back style team fighting. Two good frontliners with and engage tools that are actually pretty long range too, with Nautilus and Sejuani,
Yeah.
with a lot of just good dive buddies with the Yasuo and Aatrox, and then just Kaisa being able to go right in as soon as everyone else is CC'd for the cleanup.
That is a
Just,
fantastic team comp. Now that I look at it
yeah.
even more, like, yeah.
Not to mention, like, you pick Ezreal Yumi and you get a lot of good poke on the lane, but like Nautilus can actually tank it up pretty easily with his shield, and he can threaten a counter engage if you go too far. And also, Ezreal's not like the super punishing lane that's going to keep a Kaisa down for too long. Outside of maybe like a mid game spike early, but she can just kind of just do her thing, survive laning phase, and get to a good point of strength.
Yeah, and even like you said in your notes, FlyQuest got those two Infernals pretty decent.
Yeah,
They got the first one pretty early, but the second one pretty decent ahead as well. That's really bad when it's Yasuo, Kaisa, Aatrox. But it's also I think it's more of almost an outdraft as much as well. You can say here with just because if you're C9, you're gonna want to poke, and you're gonna want to not necessarily 1-1-3-1, or you could 1-3-1 with the Kled.
you could
But I was thinking more of a 4-1 with
4-1. Yeah,
Twisted Fate as the one, and then you have Kled and Jarvan for the engage. You have Peel away with or you have Poke with I want to call him C9, but his name's Ezreal. Like, I don't know why I'm blinking there. And Yumi, you have that poke, and you can have like you have good engage, good like you can use Yumi to jump on the Kled, get the ults off in the ult, and it makes sense. But unfortunately, you're not going to win those team fights with how good of a comp FlyQuest has. And if they need to split off Viper to go handle Twisted Fate, I think Aatrox is more than capable of handling Twisted Fate, and Sejuani, Yasuo, Kaisa, Nautilus is actually a better 4v4 against the other team.
oh definitely. I feel like that's the case too. I feel like the main thing with I feel like it was kind of an oversight in the draft, especially because they let through a Yasuo when your intention was to pick a TF.
Yeah.
And that's not the best matchup into a TF. Whether you want to try
Stop the
try
stun
to
card.
stops just kind of smacks him in lane, smacks him in a side lane, kind of keeps him from doing things in team fights. If you try to pull off a flank with his ult and like his point click stun with the rapid fire cannon, I feel like the comp wise, I still give Fly the advantage. Like if you swap these two comps, I feel like C9 just have a much easier to execute comp if they took the team fighting comp like Fly got this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's still definitely winnable on their side. Kled for Licorice was still is still pretty good. They had really good like 3-man picks in the top lane.
Mm-hmm.
My problem was that they kind of just stopped doing that, and like they did it once, and then never. Then he kind of just then Sven kind of just hovered bot side in the river. He got caught one time in the middle of 3 people, even though like his lane was kind of like in the middle, like they were kind of starting to move up, but he was like on the wrong side, so that they had to path through like the bottom part of the jungle just to get behind him. And then Niski was pushed up into the mid turret, but he was getting caught like in the middle of 3 different people.
Mm-hmm.
So then they had to wait to put down a ward, and then Licorice then had a TP in, but that was like 5 seconds into the fight has already begun. And then Niski's slowly coming in. So it's like I made a note that it was like them just like being bad guys in a Bruce Lee movie, and they're just like funneling in one after another and just all dying.
It does not. They. I mean, you're right. They played it very poorly, and that's just.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just been the case of Cloud9 the last until obviously next game. But like outside of the last game, they've been playing really bad for the last like 3-4 games that they've played. They've just lost all momentum. Hopefully, their last game brought it back.
Yeah, and I actually did listen to because they released their little brain check video today, so we actually got a little peek into how their comms went in this game, and it was actually like kind of a tale of the whole game was in that last fight, like right before FlyQuest got Baron, where Svenskeren actually tried to EQ forward and like engage directly onto FlyQuest. They were just kiting back to regroup with the rest of the team. And then Niski like TF ulted into the middle of the river near Baron, and they all just sort of like walked directly into them, like almost like just full battle lines, just 5v5 meeting in the middle, and then they all just kind of just got wiped completely.
Yeah.
And then you hear in the comms like it's like, oh, we got him, focus Yasuo, and it's like, oh shit, we don't have oh shit, we can't kill anybody. And I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
You have ADTF and an Ezreal, and then a Kled, and those are your damage choices against this comp.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be doing this.
No, not at all.
So that's unfortunate, but you know what? hey, FlyQuest did what they had to do. C9 kind of pulled up Vitality and just kind of shot themselves in the foot, trying to do a little too much this game.
Just
Um,
wait for next podcast
yeah,
for
and
Vitality.
oh yeah, and then you have and then of course definitely he definitely had some mistakes, kind of like eating into the fight as an Ezreal, and people called him out for it because he immediately ate like Nautilus ult, Nautilus hook, and a Sejuani ult and got killed.
I don't have necessarily as much of a problem with that just because I want to see
Yeah,
definitely make at least one aggressive move a game, and that
yeah.
one unfortunately didn't work. But
And I still feel like that's like a team call. Like at least he's with the team. Like
yeah,
if the whole team is charging into the fight, even if they shouldn't be doing that, at least he's doing it instead of like going off somewhere else.
yeah, you're always better. Team call, even if it has a 1% chance to work, you need all 5 people to have that 1% chance. If one of you's not doing it, it's a 0% chance. That's how I've
Yeah,
always seen it.
that's definitely an unfortunate loss, especially how the rest of the weekend goes. But hey, man, it's one of the things where you
I'm
kind of get
okay with it.
yeah, you get numb to it. But hey, I mean, we lost to Echo Fox in almost the exact same way, where we just kind of like we had some good moves early, and then we just kind of forgot how to play out the rest of the game and just got beat. It just took this one just took a shorter amount of time. It was mercifully short compared to that 51-minute monstrosity.
Yeah, at least they ended too soon. Next game we had Golden Guardians versus 100 Thieves. This one we had the Tristana top. We saw it in NA finally.
I
With
told you.
yeah, you're correct. There was some rumors going around. He had Blade Master for nope, that's Blade the Ruin King, not Blade Master.
I think this is the second time you've done that.
Is it? I
Like at least, I think it's like I think you did it on like the LEC broadcast too
Yeah,
last
you
time.
know, I've since TFT's come out, I've played like 5 games of League, and it's not good for my
Yeah,
League knowledge. It's failing.
I've played a few like ARAMs. That's about it.
Yeah, I just only play TFT. Now I'm addicted to Fire Emblem, the game that has gotten me so much into TFT, the original thing that I started to love at the beginning, and now I'm like addicted to too much at the same time.
More tactics.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this game was very, very good by Golden Guardians. I thought they were very clean. Like, this is the Golden Guardians like C9 that we had been seeing that have been struggling quite a bit the last 2 to 3 weeks. So seeing them come out and FBI, phenomenal game I thought. But again, it's either really good or really bad. I thought Haunter had a fantastic game on the Tristana as well. Did die early. That first death was I was like, oh boy, is
That's
this gonna be
unfortunate.
like NA Pike and NA Jace? Is like we're not gonna be able to play the Tristana? But no, I think he did a very good job outside of that. He actually had the most damage in the game, even more damage than Karthus, which Froggen's Karthus is like just keep giving me Froggen random control mages, even if they're not meta. He is so good on them.
No, he'll deliver that in the next game.
Yeah, yeah. This
Yeah,
was 3-1-7 on
yeah,
the Karthus, and he's
yeah.
always been solid on Karthus.
To kind of comment on that too, something I did note as well because you had the Varus Thresh lane from 100 Thieves to try to counter Golden Guardians bot lane, and then they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, they
Like
really
you had
didn't.
this, like you talk about like a hook into like a Varus ult into just like a Q, and then you're dead.
Oh yeah.
And but they can never get anything done with it. And I feel like this was actually a big part of how Golden Guardians were able to stay in this game because you have to imagine like the biggest thing for 100 Thieves is their bot lane versus the Golden Guardians bot lane. And that's how they kind of been playing the whole game. But if the Golden Guardians bot lane can kind of stay safe, do their thing, and eventually kind of scale up to a point of power, then that's like their way in. That's how Golden Guardians was doing even when Deathly and Olay were on the teams, that they can kind of hold their own, do their thing, and then contracts can just kind of play to the top side, particularly around Froggen. So now
Uh-huh.
you have like this complete, almost like a reverse bell curve for both Golden Guardians and even Optic to an extent, where it's like at the beginning of the season, oh look, they're kind of up here, and they kind of know what they want to do and they're playing pretty well, but then they kind of dip in the middle where they kind of forget and
Hmm.
they stop doing that or something or like there's like a roster swap or a meta
Or
change or
teams
whatever it
figured
may
it out.
be.
Yeah, meta changes.
Yeah, but now they're kind of starting to go right back up, and they're kind of ramping back up to kind of like where they were at the beginning.
Hmm.
So it's good to see for Golden Guardians fans, definitely.
Hmm.
Not good for my predictions, but
Yeah,
hey,
and
if it means that our playoff picture is really spicy now.
yeah, and this was a heartbreaking loss for 100 Thieves because now they have been on the up, but losing this game might have kicked them out of playoffs. Like they're in a
Mhm.
tough spot now for playoffs. Though I'd love to see them make it in TSM.
It's
I
definitely
think that'd be
winnable.
amazing.
It's in their hands. They got some tough. They got games coming up, but it's like they got to play CLG coming up, and then they have to play another team that's fighting them for that playoff
Clutch
spot.
Gaming. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So they gotta win out, and they have to. They obviously do have to win out because, but I think that's like the minimum needed. But yeah, they're gonna have to win out and get some help. Next, this game. I think I messaged both of you that it was the worst game I've ever seen in my life.
You messaged me about it, I think.
Yeah, I just Jesus Christ.
I don't know. There was that Renegades game.
I didn't see that one.
God,
I didn't see
double
that
execute.
one. I've seen the highlights. I've seen the execute.
Get the shutdown on the turret because it killed 2 people. Meanwhile, Crumbs is dying to Rift Herald.
Literally. Oh my god. I remember that. I remember
watched
that coming
that
to
live,
Wood Division.
by the way.
Yeah, that was on. That went to Wood Division. The YouTube videos. I haven't watched those in a while, but like those were. They had that play come up, and I'm like, wow. Like I wasn't watching pro play. I was just like, yikes.
It was kind of like it was like watching the freaking like Captain Flowers casting bronze games.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll give you to this one. This one was kind of just bad, but it wasn't like it wasn't like roundabout like The Room bad, where it kind of came back around on itself, and it was just kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, it was such a mess of. There was like zero macro going on this game, and it's honestly why Fox lost as well. I'm just sitting there like how dumb like the ending of the game had me just like this
That was
pose
old
right
school
here.
FlyQuest, man.
Like this pose right here is like
wait for the backdoor
I
on
knew
TSM.
they were screwed because for some reason they kill 3 and they're like, okay, we can end. There's still Tom Kench and Silas on the team. Like Tom Kench is the most important part of this equation. Like he's got a backdoor. You know he can easily do it. Like you don't see him anywhere on the map. Where on the map is Tom Kench gonna be? Do you think Tom Kench and Silas are gonna try and defend 2v5? No. Of course not. That's an impossible task. So just, I
just thought one of the highest rated comments in like the post match discussion on that was 8500 range, lol. Because they buffed the Tom Kench ult range at max level.
It's just, I mean, it doesn't even matter. They Echo Fox. I was gonna say FlyQuest, but Echo Fox wasn't even looking for it for some reason.
Yeah,
they were like,
I'll say one thing though. At least in the early game, the Echo Fox actually looked decent.
They did.
Mike Young. Like I even marked down like Mike Young not looking like a walking liability and actually making good early moves.
What was? Oh, seriously. Let me see if I have this. Oh, so far I messaged Ryan. So far I'm 3-0, and Echo Fox is currently up like 6K on TSM. Laughing my ass off. Is opting through 6K gold league, blah blah blah. Is as long I'll be a 4 a week as long as they don't choke. Well, Echo Fox.
Guess what?
Like 5 minutes later, I'm like, well, they choked, and then they did it, and then they got it back, and then I was like, oh my god, they got this win easily. Like literally, you didn't need. Who was dead? No one was dead, I don't think, or was it just?
I don't think anyone was. I think they might have had like 2 people. Well, I think it was only one person was dead at the time.
Yeah, so it would have been Phoenix.
They're on the bot. They're at the bot lane, like sieging on the inhib tower, and then like but by the time
you don't need Poppy there. You don't need Poppy.
By the time they were gaining, I think they were sending Apollo back on Zaya with Baron recall. But by that point, like the Nexus was like half dead.
Yeah, because it's Silas. He's got empowered auto attacks. He's gonna take it instantly, and even Tom Kench could take it by the time they were done. Like it's just like
he'll lick it.
Like seriously, like it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It makes me so angry because I could have been like 4-0 in my upsets. I could have gained some ground. I was feeling good, and then I lost it. And then next game we could talk. I'm done with that. No. TSM.
I actually felt really bad for Apollo. Dude was legitimately trying to clutch out this game so many times.
He's had a really good year, honestly, for his bad.
I love my last note. It was like felt really bad for him this game, trying so hard to carry. Can we get him, Hakuo, and Solo a better team?
Yes.
Phoenix too. Maybe throw a Dardock on there.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, seriously.
Brian, for the next game, We
Yeah,
had
Brian's been real quiet. Now it's his time to shine.
Yeah, so I was at work during all of these games, and I got home during the middle of this game. But I got home at the point when it was like 4-0 for Clutch, and Wiggly got caught, I think, topside, like
we
right at
lost
the
two
blast
towers.
plant. But at the time, I know you were saying it was a throw. CLG was even in gold with Clutch.
Yeah,
They
but
were up a tower, and they were just down kills. So I was like, okay,
we're
it's
not up a
even.
tower, but they were down.
Yeah,
one
just to
tower.
comment on that, I actually made a quick note saying like, well, it's like Clutch. It's like
No, I
Clutch
was
has had
saying,
an early
go
lead,
ahead.
but this is the second game in a row where we've had a team with a 5-0 kill lead early. It didn't turn
Yeah,
out well the last time.
yeah. No, I was talking about CLG being up a tower. Like
Mhm.
they had that first tower.
Oh, okay, yeah, they
I,
did.
I see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't tell me it didn't
Well,
happen.
I thought you were saying after you said you tuned in when Wiggly got caught out, and after he got caught out, they
And then
went down a tower.
I was saying it's okay because they only have kills. CLG's up a tower,
Yeah,
and the gold
Yep.
is even.
Got that Caitlyn lane, man.
Got
Caitlyn
the
lane
Caitlyn.
super
Yes.
strong.
Oh yeah.
Sivir pretty strong too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big part of it. They had a lot of siege with this comp between Caitlyn
So
and Azir. It's fucking nuts.
And Karma for poking.
Yeah,
Karma.
and then there's Braum. They could just body block and run away if anything comes at them.
Yeah, Ruin was towing a line, and he played it very well because he got out on like a sliver of health multiple times.
That's
But
sounds
it,
like her.
it it did,
Not even
yeah,
close, baby.
not even close. It did make me happy to know that this team can win when Wiggly doesn't perform. I mean, it
That was
was
very
against
good to
Clutch.
see.
It wasn't against like a top tier opponent, but Hooney was kind of popping off as much as you can.
Clutch has been looking good. They like ever since the coaching change, they've actually looked pretty decent.
Weird how that happens.
It's funny. It's almost as if McScragg was maybe not the best coach.
I think even like the players like low key like flamed him in like an interview or something like I forgot. I think it was like Demonte or something was saying like.
I mean, I was low key flaming this guy. Like whenever he put in the votes. I think it was like last split or in the split before that, and they're just doing just on principle because he put in the votes for all pro top laner, and he kept putting Broken Blade at the top. And I'm like, and he didn't even and he never put Licorice on the list.
Really, that's insane.
And I'm like, this dude is actively trolling.
Yeah.
I just
No, but this was just another great display of CLG's Baron.
Yep, they took the Baron
yeah.
there,
Pretty
but
nasty.
closed it out from there. That was
Yeah.
really good. For them.
This Baron is huge for I like Baron is going to be huge for both of these team comps because either CLG gets like their Baron for their siege and they just become basically unstoppable, or like Clutch get Baron and they could just split push and just smash on the side lanes. But CLG just with the better macro call and just really gutsy team play, they only get their first kill at 27 minutes in, but then immediately go into Baron.
Yeah. I think they got two right away with their
Yeah.
first kill or something. Like pretty
Yeah.
close together.
Yeah, basically they kind of just play vision around first, and then Clutch tries to come in, and then just Seal just kind of comes out, kills them, then goes back and gets Baron because now they don't because now it's like a 5v3 and CLG just gets it for free instead of just trying to hard force it. They actually played it really smart, and then they just kind of just close it out. But then they had the second time they go around Baron. I made a note because I'm like, damn, this is really cool because they put up. They're setting up for Baron. They're basically on it already, and Clutch has to come up through their blue side jungle, and then you just see like 3 Azir soldiers just fly out and just block the entire river, and then there's like a line of Caitlyn traps right behind them. So it's like, well, yeah. So Clutch just can't get through. The only person who can even get close is Hooney from the side, and as soon as he tries, like they can just easily just back up and then just kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was very
So-
happy.
Yeah.
So Clutch looked good, but CLG just looked like the better team all around, just in both in terms of just their patience, intelligence, and just how well they can keep control of themselves. Like they looked like even if they looked down, they were never down, and they just stayed with it and never made stupid decisions.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say, as a CLG fan, this might be one of the most CLG statements ever. I don't care how we do in playoffs. Just happy we're there. It's been a good season. Good split. Yeah.
You made it. You've confirmed.
Nah,
the
dude,
playoff
CLG's
spot.
gonna win it all.
I hope.
Don't
See,
say
That'd
who's
be
gonna win it all,
amazing.
man.
No, it wouldn't be amazing because I'd be sitting
Yes,
next to
it
Brian, and I
would.
don't want to deal with that. I don't
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
deal.
lie.
I don't want to
But,
deal with it.
William.
on Discord. In fact, I'm gonna be sitting
Then-
right next to him in real life. That would be so much worse.
I'm gonna just shake the life out of you. What, William? Then we could go to Worlds, and we know both of our teams are gonna be there.
Yeah, but you can go. You can go to Worlds off the gauntlet.
I will say,
But-
I will say this too. I think probably one of the hypest things is if, no offense, William, because I know it's going to make you upset, but it's okay. It probably won't happen this way. I would love it if it was a C9 team, C9 CLG finals, just because C9 and CLG have never played in the playoffs before, and it'd be hilarious if the first time they played it was in a finals,
in this team,
and it would be the first time. Yeah, and it would be one of the first times
No,
those
they'll
teams.
definitely get fourth.
It'd be one of the first time. It would actually be the first time one of those teams would actually have a third trophy.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. It'd probably a pretty fun series.
I think that'd be pretty cool instead, huh?
Yeah, imagine how much fun it would be for me, Matt, Jakob,
Yeah.
just C9, CLG.
I feel like it's the worst. Like, I feel like all of you, like Lars with Golden Guardians, Matt and Yaka with C9, and you with CLG, all satisfied to see them in the third or fourth place match. I'm not satisfied with seeing Team Liquid in the third or fourth place match. I need to see them in the.
That's because you said you were an Immortals fan after their perfect season.
I'll say this. I don't think they're doing the third and fourth place match.
They are. We
They are.
we have $181 tickets that says yes, they are.
Oh really? Well, okay. Because I think these unless they
didn't do it for
change
spring.
unless they
didn't do it
change
for
the
spring.
yeah, that's the saying. Unless they change the summer championship points rule again, third and fourth just get 55 points.
I think.
I think they need to make sure it gets fleshed out more, so there's not like you both got third and fourth and you're tied. Then we have a weird tiebreaker situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's just do it off points. Yeah.
it's possible. Because I know that's what they did in summer. I don't know. I'd have to look at the championship point thing again because I know they do like the auto qualify. Second gets 90 points and it used to be it was 70-40 for third and fourth.
So it meant
But,
a lot.
but yeah, and when they announced like they're reshaping the championship and cutting out the third and fourth place match in spring, they just averaged out the points so that third and fourth just get 55 points straight up in summer,
Really
and then fifth and sixth get 20.
interesting.
But I'd have to look into that. It'd be kind of weird if they did that and then played a third fourth place match for no reason,
Yeah.
just for the sake of playing one. So maybe they'll hopefully they get more info about that coming out because that'd be kind of weird.
I'm gonna look into it super quick. Do you guys want to, while I do that? Do you guys want to talk Golden Guardians Optic Gaming? This was another good game.
Game 1, day 2. Optic coming through with the first pick Ezreal. I don't know what the deal with that one was, frankly.
Didn't like that one at all, to be honest.
I'm not a fan when you have Sejuani, Aatrox, even like Kiana and Aurelia all available, and then you're first picking Ezreal, but there's still like Sivir, Zaya, and then Golden Guardians end up just taking Kai'Sa. So it's just like the Ezreal Kai'Sa thing that I talked about in the C9 FlyQuest game, where you just kind of get an easy lane for Kai'Sa to just scale up and be a DPS monster. So not sure about that one, and not too much else going on. I'm just kind of going off my own notes.
I can get back in it now. I just want to say that you are correct. So that they are playing it, but it is pointless. It's 55 points each. It's $25,000 each, so you don't even get extra money. And yeah,
It's just bragging rights, I guess.
rights. That's really dumb though.
Huh.
That one doesn't matter.
So it turns out we were all right. You were right about the third fourth place match, and I was right about it being pointless.
Yeah. That kind of.
In other words, it's kind of like the third and fourth place match from last year.
Yeah, really.
God, I really hope TSM doesn't sneak into. I hope they miss playoffs. That'd be amazing.
I hope. I'm like I said. I'm
That'd
just
be
hoping it's Golden Guardians, CLG, Team Liquid, and Cloud9. I've been saying it
I feel like
since they announced that the finals is going to be in Detroit.
in NA, the finals are here.
But yeah, for this game,
TSM just
Froggen
have
was-
too much of a buffer right now. Unfortunately, I feel like they still
I
make
think
it in
they
barely.
sneak into
Yeah.
at least the playoffs. I don't know about top 4. But
Yeah.
this game was with
Anyway,
Froggen on his Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz.
Nice. I love his Vel'Koz. One of the few people playing it. I mean, he didn't get a kill until about 15 minutes and 17 minutes into the game, but like it's just his late game control with the control mage
Mhm.
is disgusting. It is so good.
You gotta
Yeah.
love like the damage spread on Golden Guardians was just like Aatrox, he's right in your face. Then you have Kaisa kind of mid lane because of her range, and then you have Vel'Koz from way in the back over a
Yep.
wall.
So if you have a burst or an AOE, you're not getting all the carries. So even if you hit maybe
Mhm.
like Vel'Koz with the Sejuani ult, well, Haunter's in the front line or and Kai'Sa's in the mid, like, and she can ult away. So like you're not getting everyone. And
And
Trundle
just
and the Sejuani is very good.
yeah, and it's kind of the same thing too. It's almost like a weird like pseudo mix from like the C9 Fly game where you have Optic has a whole bunch of engage, but their damage isn't really the best,
Yeah.
especially coming from their AD carry with Ezreal. I mean, I mean, if he hits like every single skill shot, sure, he's fine, and he has some good poke. But then if you compare it to like the Golden Guardians carries, that's a lot of team fight damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get an Infernal as their first Drake.
Yep. And
So
then
that
they
means
got a
like now
second
they're just,
Infernal as
yeah,
well.
if they ever try to look for a full engagement, Golden Guardians, unless they're like immediately bursted out somehow, they're just going to completely wipe. And then the second one that they get later is even better for them.
Mm-hmm. And pretty
So
much immediately after getting that Infernal, like about 3 minutes later,
yeah.
they go 5-for-1 in a team fight and kind of showed the true power of Aatrox. I think this was the game that Crumbs was talking about, where Aatrox absorbed
Oh god.
because Optic picked Poppy. Aatrox was available, and they picked Poppy.
Yep.
And or no, they picked the Ezreal. They
Yeah,
picked
they picked yeah I think they first picked Ezreal and Aatrox, Sejuani, all of those were available.
yeah. So like they could easily picked up the Aatrox themselves. Dokla looked really good on the Aatrox. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? And like
That was it was 10, well, I think it's a week and a half ago now, but it was the
different
week
patch,
before
but
this one.
it's still the same champion, just without the revive and more healing. Like as long as you're playing the mechanics correctly, I don't think it should have been that big of a difference, as it wasn't for everyone else. But it was absurd. Like I think that's where they brought up that you pick the Poppy to be a counter to Aatrox because you know by picking Ezreal the other team's gonna pick Aatrox, so you pick Poppy knowing that they're gonna pick Aatrox,
Yeah.
and Aatrox took more damage and did way more damage. Poppy did a total of 9.5k. Aatrox did 23.4k. So you
Yeah.
over doubled the damage and was nearly double in the
Effective
the
tankiness.
effective tankiness. So
Man.
your counter pick really didn't work out as well.
Doesn't make sense since he doesn't even have Gunblade and Rabadons on him. But
Yeah, that's the way to go. Gunblade, Dragons, or Dragon Tooth, and Ravadon. No, Dragon Tooth.
Oh Lord, Blade Master.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's
yeah,
Ezreal.
I mean, Dokla did have that really clutch ultimate onto contracts in the Baron that immediately stopped them
Yeah.
from just taking Baron when Crown like hyper inted with his Corki package. Like, they're on Baron. They moved off of Baron. Crown just freaking like packages all the way up it near like right behind the wall of their red buff in through four people with none of his teammates around, and then he like has to Valk forward and then flash over the wall, but still gets chased down and dies
Yeah, it was a
for no
bad,
reason.
It was not
And
as
then
good a game as he had against Team Liquid.
yeah, like he was trying. I don't know what happened, but it looked like he was trying way too hard for
Mhm.
no reason.
Mhm.
And I think it's because Contracts actually kind of out jungled Meteos this game. It just felt like he was either just quicker on the play, every play, or he was just in the right position at the right time. He immediately got like bot lane when Meteos was trying to set something up, immediately turns it around. So they got first blood for Kaisa. And then he never has to pay attention to that lane anymore because Ezreal can't really do much to stop her anymore unless Meteos shows up. And then he's just freed up to do what they want to do and just play around mid and top side. And even then, he didn't really do much for Hanser because Hanser was 42 CS ahead of Dokla at like 14 minutes
Yeah.
on Aatrox in lane,
Mhm.
which is not even what he's good at.
Nope.
And then he got first turret at 15 minutes.
Yep. It was
Like God, like
brutal.
Jesus, dude.
It was not a good game for Optic, and that's really bad because now Optic is what I have the record here.
They're tied.
They are
They're tied with
they're
Golden
8-8,
Guardians.
yeah, but they are what I was gonna say. They are 4-8 in their last 12 games. And that's
Mhm.
after a 4-0 start, so that's really
Yeah.
bad. 33% win rate.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the sad thing. It felt like the Optic was really trying to really. It felt like Optic did have a great game plan going against TL, and you could almost feel like they indexed a lot of their practice into how they wanted to play the TL game, and it feels like they just kind of just dropped the ball on this one, both a little bit in draft, but also just in execution because they just didn't look nearly as good as they did against TL.
they just need a better top laner.
They do,
Yeah.
absolutely. If Soaz is
Yeah.
available now, we think he'll come down in.
Hey, do they
Wait,
have?
no, I don't think that could
They
work
don't.
because
They
he's
don't
an
have.
import.
Yeah, they
that's
don't
a
have
good point.
import slots.
Unless they get rid of
How
Arrow.
close is Arrow? How close is Arrow?
I
Because
don't know.
He's got to be coming close soon, maybe a year or
Yeah.
two.
Because I mean, he was P1 Arrow for a while, so that was like what 2015.
NALCS MVP
Yeah, that's
Arrow.
MVP
Yeah.
P1 Arrow. Like he was
Yeah.
that was that. I think that was I want to say that was 2015. I think it was 2015 summer. I'd have to look into it because that
Does
was
it
like
reset if you're not active? Because
yes.
he didn't play anywhere else, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, because I mean that was the case with Phoenix.
Yeah, you're right. Because Phoenix
That was
got
Phoenix
screwed.
last year when the Echofox randomly cut him at like and they like cut him at the roster and like they did it like right before the roster lock, so no other team could pick him up, and he was gonna get like residency after that split.
Yeah, I remember
So
that.
that was a little fucked up. People were really upset about that for good reason.
Yeah, but before we go
But
on to
yeah.
the next game, I did some research and it kind of sucks. The only way for CLG to beat TSM in points is to win because if they TSM already has 70 points and
Yeah.
it well I mean if they qualify for playoffs because they'll get 20 just for 5th or 6th and then if CLG gets second they'll be tied at 90.
No, CLG wins then.
Yes,
Is it?
because
Yeah,
it's off
it depends.
tiebreaker off
I will
summer.
say I'll say right now because I'll say right now if that's the case, like CLG won't be able to go on points, obviously. But TSM, if they finish in a way like if they go out in quarterfinals, they won't finish either because it's either going to be like if CLG goes to finals and then wins, they auto qualify and Team Liquid goes on points.
I mean
Or if C9 finishes high, then they'll go on points.
yeah,
But
realistically
yeah,
C9's going on points, but
yeah. But
yeah.
but the big deal is that if TSM even if they end with 90 points and they go out in quarterfinals and CLG go out in the finals with 90, CLG will be the highest seed in the gauntlet
Okay.
because they have more points in summer.
Well, they'll have more points in the gauntlet, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
the straight up points winner because
Oh
I'm
yeah.
assuming
I
Liquid's
mean,
gonna
unless
win.
TSM miss playoffs
If
completely.
Yeah, that's
C9 and TSM both get beaten before the top 4 and CLG makes final 2, they automatically qualify.
Hell yeah, that's the dream scenario
That's
now.
possible. It's
Yeah.
not the worst. It's not the
Yeah.
craziest.
That's like the one thing. Like if C9 and TSM both go out in both go
First
out in
round.
quarterfinals.
But
'Cause that's the
chances are that they're gonna be playing someone who's not CLG or TL because aren't they
They'll be
automatically in
playing
the
against
next
Golden
round?
Guardians and Optic or 100 Thieves. Very
Or Clutch.
TSM or Clutch. I think. Yeah, sorry. I think TSM is very
FlyQuest.
beatable, but I think
No.
C9 should be fine.
I
that
think-
one's mathematically
I-
out.
Yeah, I think they're out.
I know. Let them believe.
The next game, though, I don't have the gold graph or anything. All you need to know, real quick, is 100 Thieves destroyed TSM this game.
Good.
Absolutely destroyed them. They've looked terrible.
They looked really bad.
Even Bjergsen looked bad.
They joked about it because it was actually like 100 Thieves went for a couple of plays topside to try to help get Fate God ahead in the Renekton Aatrox match, and it never worked. But then TSM tried to do it with like a 3-man dive using TF ult, and then that didn't work. But then TP came in from Ryu, and then it just became a 3-man Dosido in the river. And then Fate God with the most Chad move I've ever seen.
That flash, like the backwards
Flash empowered Q on 3 people to get the heal, and then
The
they just
stun.
then they ended up just getting a double kill off of that, which is crazy.
God, that was so good. I just like I was I think I was playing TFT in the middle of this game, and I just looked back right at the right time for that, and I was like, oh my God, Fake God, what a pro, what a team player right there from the right.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's called that was calculated, man.
Yeah,
That's
he
that's
died,
that
but he
he
got
became
Ryu that
he
double
truly
kill.
he truly became Faker God at that moment.
He
Yeah.
did.
And no, he actually didn't die. That was just a
No, he
clean
died.
two.
I thought.
No, yeah, he died straight up. Eventually, they did a 5-man die from TSM where they TP'd, they TF ulted and TP'd in Sivir, and then roamed the other three, and then they killed him,
Got it.
and they got the top tier 1, and then like Bang was just sort of doing like the Whippo thing and just farming bot lane casually and got the turret.
Yep.
But yeah, it was actually like rough because not just that, but eventually like soon after that. Fake God actually ended up getting a Spear of Shojin at first item at 15 minutes,
It's a good item in
which
TFT.
then got amazing back there. And he just straight up just chased down Broken Blade for a kill, and then just got first turret by himself. The Spear of Shojin Renekton was popping off, but it was almost entirely because Fake God was just kind of smurfing a little bit in the early game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was impressed. After the bear TSM, like I said, should have lost to Echo Fox. If Echo Fox had more of an IQ than 10, they would have lost as combined. They would have lost to Echo Fox. Then they would have lost to 100 Thieves here, and all of a sudden, like, they haven't looked good at all in 4 weeks now for TSM.
Now you're talking about
Rift
TSM, who's 8-8, tied with Golden Guardians
Nine and
and
seven.
Optic.
Oh yeah. They would have been 8-8, and they'd be tied for 6th place with only 100 Thieves and Clutch 1 game behind them, so they'd have 2 teams to worry about. Luckily for TSM, they started out pretty. They didn't start out great, but they started out okay enough. Their middle, it's like they started out bad. Middle was good, and then the late has been bad. So like their middle was good enough that they're actually probably okay for playoffs unless something crazy happens. I believe they only have a 2% chance to miss playoffs, but that's still a chance.
Yeah, I think the worst part about this game for TSM and like kind of recently as well is just Bjergsen. Even Bjergsen hasn't really looked good for them. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even like Game 3 semifinals versus C9 where he just like he pulls off these like 3 screen away Akali flanks and he kills everybody.
Yeah.
They had Broken Blade was in bot side and he was just sieging. Like Renekton was coming down to answer, but he's going to get the first turret. And then I guess they look to dive because Bjergsen doesn't even TF ult. He TPs onto a ward directly in front of the bot turret, and then amazing is there. He just gets stunned by Renekton, stunned by Sejuani, and dies before even throwing an auto.
Yeah, he's playing really bad right now as well.
Yeah, and it just looks like TSM just don't know what they're doing half the time. Like they just like you'll have 100 Thieves will get a pick, then sit in Fog of War, then Sven will move up on Sivir to try to clear the wave, and then he just gets picked immediately afterwards. And then they go back in Fog of War, and then they come back and they kill someone else, and they go back in Fog of War, and then they get Baron, and then they just win.
Yep, I mean that's pretty much how.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening with them, dude, but they're not looking. They're not looking hot.
Like I don't know if they'll win either of the games this week, and that's they're probably like I said, they're probably going to be lucky enough that they don't have to win. They could still get by, but I think they're going to be an easy early out type situation. Next we had C9 versus Team Liquid. And C9, after beating Discount Team Liquid, or losing to Discount Team Liquid in FlyQuest, destroyed regular Team Liquid in a 28-minute game.
Brian,
Yeah.
is it safe to say that this split Cloud9 is truly counter logic?
I mean, no.
We've lost to
No.
Echo Fox and FlyQuest, but we 2-0 Team Liquid.
That's true, but your record is a little bit better than it should be if you were truly
Well, hey,
counterlogic.
I mean CLG's record is a little bit better.
Yeah, but it's been a while since that
So
happened.
which one is really the
Like
counter logic here?
2016. The counter logic is
No,
really that CLG's doing well, but
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, with the way they're playing, it's only logical. And,
It's true.
and don't worry, we'll get to 2016 CLG with their next game coming up. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was actually has some interesting bans for C9. They just banned Corki straight out, and then they also banned Mork and Nautilus. So they kind of telegraphed a Yumi pretty early.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
Yeah. But then Team Liquid just don't decide not to ban it, and then just pick Sona Kench into it. So I guess that's a decent enough answer because it means like Yumi's probably not going to punish that lane well enough if C9 take it.
But
unless they go like
I'm just
Lucian
hope this
Yumi.
gets. I hope they're like, okay, Team Liquid's like, okay, we're done with Sonatark now. Please,
Yeah.
please.
Especially
What about
because
the
Zaire
Tark?
McCon was open. They could have easily taken it.
That was my next question. Okay, I get that it's Core JJ's Tom Kench, but like, why are they not taking the Tark over the Tom Kench when it's open?
That too, yeah, yeah, really.
That is the whole point of the combo is the heals.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's going this Sona Tom Kench now. I still think Sona
Normally,
Tark is
It's a
because
like,
different
Tark
type
gets
of
banned
lane.
out,
yeah,
it
yeah.
it is it's safer and you can make more map play. You have more presence, but like
It's an
it,
easier. I think the reason they pick it is because the Kench makes laning a lot easier for the Sona.
yeah,
He just has he has. I don't know if the range. I don't know if the melee range is slightly different, but just the way Tom Kench can CS as a melee carry is a lot different than Tarek,
I
and
think
he can
yeah.
actually just play the lane safer.
but
I
you
think
don't get the auto win after 35 minutes like you do with Sona Tark.
I mean,
that's also
that's
true.
true. I think the Gragas pick is smart into it anyway, but you have the
Mhm.
death ball of Kinnan and Jarvan. Literally, like Kinnan
No,
goes in
it's
and you
not a death
Jarvan
ball
ult
because
everyone
it's
in.
AD Kennen. And for me, as much as
Oh,
I hate AD
Mhm.
Kennen, actually wasn't the problem in this game at
Yeah.
all.
Oh
well,
yeah.
I didn't even look at that, but yeah,
Oh yeah.
they
That I mean that's how Impact straight up gets a he
He
actually
got
got a
solo
solo
kill,
kill
yeah.
onto Licorice
He
this game
just
because
randomly solo
he
killed
went Blade Master first
him.
and solo killed him in lane.
Yep, get
And the
those
thing is, I
extra auto
actually don't
attacks.
mind that. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, because like he like Licorice queued into him to try to hit the sweet spot, and he just freaking he active with the Blade of the Ruin King, slowed him down, got health back, and just autoed him down, stunned him, then ulted him and killed him.
Yeah, it was
So
kind of
he,
sad. It was just
yeah,
like,
it was. And the thing is, I actually kind of understand this comp. I know a lot of people were kind of angry. It's like, oh, TL, like, what are they supposed to do with this comp? Like, it's so terrible. And I'm like, yeah, but just kind of like with the C9 FlyQuest game, I feel like this comp from TL is very much a winnable thing, and they were actually doing it. It was
yeah,
kind
they
of off
did
the
take the
back.
gold lead towards the
Yeah,
middle.
it was kind of off the back of definitely some miscommunication from C9 where TL where Smithy was able to sneak the Rift Herald and went to put it in bot lane, but then you had Smithy, Core, and Double Lift sitting back like closer to where their turret is, like not in turret range, but right there. And they pop the Rift Herald. Sneaky and Zazel are kind of in mid lane, or kind of like in the middle of the lane, like in front of them. They go down to try to answer the Rift Herald, and then you have Sven and Niski. Niski, they were like seriously popping off this game. They were completely smashing it. It was like almost like the Swole Bros versus Pobelter last summer versus Team Liquid, where they just kind of smacked mid lane repeatedly. Um, but then they roam down, and instead of trying to like kind of just protect, kind of like playing like bodyguard for Sneaky and Zazel just to get rid of Rift Herald or control the lane, keep them from just taking the turret, they start to go. They try to go in on three people, 2v3. Yeah, they just get Sona ulted immediately. Smithy combos, hits his ult, and then they just killed Niski and shut him down. And then from there, like you had Jensen didn't even bother the ult. He just pushes up the wave, gets two waves to crash into the turret, takes mid turret. They eventually take the bot lane turret. Like Rift doesn't take it, but they siege up and take it eventually.
Yeah,
And in the meantime, Kennen solo kills Licorice in the top lane, and then he takes the top lane turret.
yeah. It was 3 turrets by Team Liquid in 20 seconds, or
Yeah.
like it was like instantly Team Liquid's all back in control. But then they did lose that final team fight at the very end with Sneaky
Mhm.
popping off on the Ezreal with solid
Yeah.
26.4k damage and Yumi at 17.9k.
Yeah, I actually thought that was actually really smart, and it just kind of showed that it feels like C9 did actually at least learn from the game. Because up until that point, TL were kind of just playing to their win condition.
Mhm.
They were kind of doing like the 4-1 with a little bit of the 1-3-1 with the TF, but kind of having him hover and fog of war so that they could always ult multiple people down into like the Kennen lane and just letting Impact just split push him to death. Because he ended up taking the bot tier 2 just like for nothing because C9 can never really find and engage. But I think one thing that was kind of nice was at one point I saw that Niski, I don't know the exact time, but Niski was like split pushing top, and then right before, like I want to say like maybe a minute before the Infernal was coming up, which is huge because if C9 get like damage on their squad, kind of like the Golden Guardians optic game, damage for these carries in the split push could actually means that they can probably one v one them more. Like Licorice might actually have a way into the cannon,
Yep.
and they actually have a stronger team fight, so they can try to roll against 3 if they decide to group. But you have Niski actually roams down really early, and him and Sven are just hiding in their red side, and then they put a pink over the back of the dragon before it spawns. That's like before Liquid are even in position in the river, and then Niski roams around the backside, and they kind of just pincer them in the river. And Team Liquid do take the Drake, but C9 don't just try to pinch and go immediately in a spot like in the river where they have all this room to move. Sona can give people speed and they can kite it out and then just kind of just either take a fight like on split grounds, just focus down one person. They actually end up corralling them into the choke point up towards the blue buff.
Yep.
And then you just see like Kiana, Gragas, Aatrox,
Just
and then even like
massive
Ezreal with
burst
Iceborne.
damage.
They just AoE them all to death and just chase them down.
Yeah, and then off of that, they were able to secure the Baron, and then with that Baron and with that kind
That
of
was like some
lead, they were
CLG
just
Baron.
boom.
CLG Baron.
Yep.
They
Instant
kept the
close
spellbook.
it out. Instant close on the Baron. It was very
They
clean.
kept the spellbook Kench out of the pit.
Mhm.
Sneaky
Yeah.
apparently called for that as well. Like he was actually in the game. He says we got to keep Kench out of the pit. If he shows up, we go over the top and we push him out.
Yep.
So
they
that
did
could be the difference.
It was close. He did get in the pit, but he did not secure the smite.
Yep. By that point, Sven had actually respawned, and he was there to actually secure the higher level smite.
Yep.
Which is good. It's good control. It felt like C9 just. I don't know what the hell happened to them in their FlyQuest game. They just look so much more controlled and I guess smart. They look like they actually had brains today, and they actually played to how they needed to win versus what TL did. Because if Infernal was bad for C9 to get, Baron was worse.
Yeah.
Because now you can never split against this team.
Not at all.
And then the 3-man squad, even though they have like the Ezreal Yumi, which isn't like it isn't like the biggest split push thing. Like they have like a little bit of wave clear and that's about it. But they're not gonna really push against the Sona. But now with Baron, they could just easily just Nayram it right up through the middle, and they did. They had no answer to it. And Sven just played a lot better this game. This was not a Svenskeren and Gragas meme game.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
he was pouring one out and drinking everyone under the table.
For sure. And usually we make fun of his Svenskeren or his Gragas games because usually doesn't have the best ults or body slams. He misses a lot more body slams than someone should.
No. I mean, Acadian kind of filled that quota for this week.
That was true. That was true.
Those were some troll. Those were some troll barrels this game. But
next,
that's not what we're about.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say the next game we had with CLG and Echo Fox. CLG looked really good in that one. I mean, it is against Echo Fox, but TSM didn't look good against Echo Fox. CLG showed how you can play it well. Give him that early. It wasn't first blood, was it? Or no. They got the first blood on the Camille.
Yeah.
This was all the Camille, by the way. Camille looked like a fantastic counter into Aatrox, which is decent, but I think it's also a Lorlo playing Aatrox more so, and Mike Young is the jungler. It's another 1-6 on Elise. Because imagine that. Shocking.
Yeah.
He just.
I mean, he did try. He was able to show up after they got the first blood. And they did get the turnaround kill there. So.
And then after
there's
that,
but no.
Immediately went 0-6 after that.
Mike Young played 2 Elise games and went 2-11.
Yep. That's
nice.
I'm never a
Hey,
huge big fan of Elise, and I've seen a few really good ones.
Depends who's playing it for sure.
Yeah, but I feel like Mike Young is not that person. Even though on the broadcast they said that it's close enough to Nidalee that it should be good, but is it though? I mean, it is, but they're both shapeshifters.
Yeah, you said he was 2-11 on 2 Elise games. Well, that means he was only...
every single champion on Echo Fox team is in TFT.
They are. Look at that. You got it. You got Demon.
Nice. TFT.
You put the Demon on Pike for the normal soulless Exodia. You got 4 Demon buff right there. There you go.
Running a demon comp, but Camille just she's attack damage, so it's fine.
Okay, we kind of do have to mention there's the Lucian mid game.
Oh yeah, that too. But
it was the return of the NA solo lane Lucian.
Yeah, I don't know why NA can't get Lucian to face Corki. I'm speaking off experience of one whole game and watching it in pro play for the first time. Like I've experienced it one time as the Corki. It's terrible. You do not do anything that game. Lucian just bullies you so hard.
Yeah, and to be
it's
fair,
probably because
Phoenix
you don't.
did that. Yep.
It's
Go ahead.
probably because you don't have Wiggly as your jungler. You have Mike Young as your jungler.
Yeah.
Mike
So
Young's in
Yeah.
plat.
maybe, I mean,
To be fair though, the Lucian was actually kind of smacking Corky in lane. Like
well, yeah,
yeah, PoE wasn't really able to do much in the early game. He was actually getting bullied pretty hard. It was almost entirely the Wiggly Ruin show. Wiggly was everywhere, and Ruin was just dancing on people with scissor legs. It was really fun. It was actually really fun to watch.
I guess that's true. I just want to see more. You didn't get a single
Yeah,
kill on Power People, and you should
yeah,
be able to solo. I don't know necessarily solo
yeah.
kill, but you should be able to get something off of him.
Yeah, I feel like my issue with this one was that they actually picked the Lucian like last pick of their first round of picks, and then they pulled the cool little flex like, oh surprise, we're moving it mid lane,
Hmm.
but then like your surprise bot lane was Morgana Pike,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, in theory, like what you hit a binding, and you hit a hook, and then you hit a stun, and then maybe it works. But then CLG just go full 2016 MSI and pick Caitlyn Nami,
Yep. And so you have the
who
sustain,
completely outrange you
and if you get
and
hit, you can sustain
and
it.
have infinite sustain
Yep.
and set up for Caitlyn traps, so you can never really do anything to them.
Hmm.
So it was just kind of ruin putting on a highlight reel on Camille, just like 2v1ing, 2v4ing. It was with Wiggly. It was actually really fun. Good Camille is always fun to watch for me
Hmm.
personally. And
I like that.
CLG just looked like, yeah, Echovox looked out of their element. They had looked like completely lost, and CLG just looked again just way above their opponent, even more so than Clutch. But it's Clutch versus Echovox. Clutch is definitely better.
Yeah. And
a little bit.
speaking of Clutch, the next game, Clutch
Yeah.
versus FlyQuest. Clutch pretty much beat up FlyQuest just like CLG beat up Echofox. Started out a little shaky with giving up both the Rift Herald and the Mountain Drake, but and they had the few good trades. You were getting Hootie on the Akali fed, and he got fed really early, and it did not stop for the whole game. He never died. And did he have the most damage? No, he did not. Sivir with that ricochet had the most damage, but still 15.7k damage, pretty good. But just all around, after those first objectives, they retook every objective from there. FlyQuest didn't get a single tower the entire game. They played the Tristana mid or ADC like plebs, not in the top or mid lane like it's supposed to be now.
I feel I want to believe that they played the Tristana 80 carry specifically because they were playing against Cody's son.
Oh, that's funny.
But I will say, like, Clutch just in general just all looked really good this game. Like, you have Hoonie and Lyra were actually just straight up smurfing on Santorin
Rare
and
statement to
Viper.
say Lyra
Yeah,
is smurfing.
especially because it was Aurelia Sejuani in the top side, which is
Yeah,
really
should
strong.
win. Should win.
Yeah, but they end up just double killing them, which is
Yep.
straight up. Cody
Yep.
Sun just got a free fire team fight 80 carry. Vulcan was like actually killing it on Nautilus. It seemed like he was hooking everybody. Flash hook landed every time. Like he was like actually had aimbot. Dude was beast. But yeah, it just felt. I actually thought it was interesting that in Pick Ban there was no Karma and no Aatrox.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Should be.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting.
Mhm.
I think that's the only game where where both of those champions went completely through.
Yep.
But yeah,
Either
it,
one
it,
should
it
pick it.
yeah. Clutch looked really good. They had a few sloppy points in closing, but they never really felt like they were ever in danger
No.
of losing this game.
They were always at least at a 7k gold lead, so they were always fine. And
But then I made my note because the Clutch had a post game huddle like after they won, and Demonte led the charge. It says dig on 3, 1, 2, 3, dig.
I didn't
So
hear
they
that.
fully embraced it.
Yeah, they did. They're gonna completely beat Dignitas next split, but
Yeah.
still this split, and they still are alive. So let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about our Week 9 power rankings. Me and Brian finally made excellent power rankings. I didn't have to question them at all because we are the exact same all the way through.
Yep,
And,
I did this on my couch at 8:55,
Nice. But
so it was pretty good.
I didn't update your negative and positive situation, but basically we all have pretty much standard Team Liquid, CLG, C9 top three. Very makes sense, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
uh, Next, we also all have Golden Guardians number 4, and that also makes sense as they beat Optic and 100 Thieves. The two
Yep.
teams ahead of them, you just beat them. Well, you're going up now.
Yep.
Pretty much, it's
Yeah.
cut and dry as it can be. This,
Yeah, I'll say how much of that is just Golden Guardians being able to luck out and be able to get away with a game plan that finally worked for them. Just that might just work for the 1 week. Who knows? Maybe that was just Optic the week before, and maybe that's why they look strong.
Mhm.
Who knows? Maybe like FBI and who he start trolling again next week. Maybe Dokla
Possibly.
actually like grows a brain next week and he looks better. But who? But I feel like it's actually called. But until then, like for this week, Golden Guardians was the better team
Yep.
above Optic and 100 Thieves, pretty much.
Absolutely. And
I
then
don't know what happened, but something's wrong with my red, green, yellow because clutch went up, but everyone below them stayed the same.
oh, thanks. The clutch should actually stay the same as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very
So
much.
that means I really only changed one person. It just shifted other people up.
Yeah, you changed TSM all the way from 4 to 7. But
So that means my
before we
power
talk about
rankings you were questioning were probably the most correct, but whatever.
I think my TSM for me was actually not that much of a drop because I had them at 6th.
Yeah, we both had them at 4. You have Optic ahead of 100 Thieves. Do you want to explain that one? Because we have 100 Thieves above Optic.
'Cause
It's very close. It's very close.
I think the only reason I think right now that I had Optic over 100 Thieves is the fact that 100 Thieves beat TSM, and that's nothing to write home about right now. Like as much as it was cool for them to beat them, and they have looked really good recently, I still have to value the fact that like Optic kind of had that stinker against Golden Guardians, but then they looked really good against Team Liquid.
That's fair.
I value them looking good against Team Liquid more than 100 Thieves beating TSM.
Okay.
Frankly, at least right now. Like if you're talking about like week, like what, like 3 or 4 TSM, maybe that looks better. But I still think
Echo
it's
Fox
super
should
tight.
beat, again, Echo Fox should have beat TSM.
Yeah, exactly.
No good team loses to Echo Fox.
Golden
Yeah.
Guardians lost to TSM on the 20th, so last week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they threw that game pretty hard. I had to spit
Yep.
on my
It was the second time they threw,
Mm-hmm.
in almost the exact same way.
Yep,
Except
yep.
it was around Baron the second time, and
Yeah.
not in their base.
The only thing I really had a hard time putting, I mean, Optic 100 Thieves, I didn't give it that much thought. I just like
Yeah.
100 Thieves better. Was putting TSM and CG, switching them like Ryan has. That's the only thing I had a struggle doing. I was like, I can't
Yeah.
put TSM that low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Where I dropped them, a hardy drop of 4 to 7 in the final, coming into the final week of the season is a very big drop for
Right.
because you pretty much know all the teams by now. So power ranking shouldn't change too much by this point. But yeah, they've looked just absolutely god awful. If you think about where their last 2 wins were the other team completely throwing them to, I know they still count as wins. I get it. I'm sorry, but Echo Fox should have beat TSM if they played even with, like I said before, like 10 IQ. And Golden Guardians threw it to TSM. That's 2 wins all of a sudden that like TSM didn't really deserve. They should be like around 7-9. They should be almost out of the playoffs, fighting to get in the playoffs type situation with the way
Yep.
they've played since Rift Rivals. They have not looked. They haven't had a single good-looking game since Rift Rivals.
I feel
Which is-
like they realized they actually suck, and like it just kind of shattered their mental.
Yeah, that
Because
might be
they're
it.
like, there's no reason we should even go to Worlds. Like,
You know what it was though, because actually there's like a stretch of like maybe like 2 or 3 games where they actually looked pretty good. Because it's like that was when they first really started to settle on Acadian, and they actually looked proactive, and it was actually working for a little bit. But it was as soon as they had that throw against C9,
Mhm.
and then
Major throw.
and then they just got smacked by CLG, and then they just never recovered.
It's
Yeah.
They just got
CLG.
beat by their,
Okay.
they got beat by their 2 biggest rivals, and they just never looked the same again.
They haven't. You're
See-
right.
C9 pulled them off the wall, and CLG just shot them in the head on their way down.
Yeah, C9 was like C9 was that jab that slipped right through, and then CLG was the knockout.
Oh.
CLG was that people's elbow into the jaw, just like, good night.
Yeah, C9 was the spine buster, and CLG was the people's elbow. Oh god.
Oh man.
But just to kind of explain the clutch reasoning behind me, the way I said to ask you is like, okay, right now, clutch versus TSM, who wins?
Yeah, you're right. I'd probably pick Clutch.
Yeah, because Clutch has actually looked good. Like they actually looked pretty good against CLG, and CLG is really good.
I
And then
trust
they
Cody
just, and
Sun
then
way more than Sven.
yeah, and then they played FlyQuest and they smacked him, which is more than I can say about C9.
That's true.
And then it seems like as soon as they had like that coaching change, it's like their drafts completely stabilized. Like they're actually playing standard picks.
They're not
They're
hinting
act
off the wall.
like they're not trying to be crazy. It just looks like they just slowed themselves down, and now they actually look.
That's what Demonte said. It was like a low key flame where he said that. Well, because with the new coaching, we're actually getting back to normal draft. We're not drafting like we're G2, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, because they're not. That's just
Yeah,
reality.
you're not G2. Draft who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Stop picking Rumble all the time.
Yeah.
Unless you're actually going to flex it mid. And then if you're thinking about doing that, don't. And just ban it if you're that afraid of playing the pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Clutch is right now. If you put them, it's sad because like TSM they're like 9-7 right now, and it's like it always feels bad putting them at 8th. And I'm always afraid that TSM they could always rebound. At the very least they always have Bjergsen, but it's like right now they look like complete trash.
Yep.
They don't know. They look like they are a step above like Fly and Fox. But I feel like even like the FlyQuest game is almost a toss up at this point.
Yeah, that's
Because
where they are.
Because they almost lost to Fox.
Yeah, exactly.
They're getting smacked by Fox.
That's exactly where
It
they
wasn't
are
even
right
like
now.
it wasn't even like the times where TL and C9 lost to Fox, where it was kind of just like they kind of clutched it out in a key moment, or C9 was repeatedly just like running themselves into a wall and wondering why the wall wasn't coming down. This one was Fox just straight up beating them.
Yeah,
And it just came down to just one misplay, and I guess maybe one smart call from TSM that they could just run it down.
Wasn't smart. It was obvious.
it was the one
So
quote,
obvious.
quote. You're not seeing that I'm throwing up air quotes when I say that. The smart call, which is to say they just run it down with Tom Kenchel and just go into the
And
base.
every team should expect that. Every single team should expect. I expected it as a plant player. How are the pros not doing? Anyway.
Anyway.
Let's-
But yeah,
let's get it.
and I guess just quick touch on the top 3 teams. As much as I would love to put C9 like above. I can't do it above TL and CLG.
No, I can't either.
Those two are way too consistent. They're way too strong, and it's easier to believe that like TL maybe had a not as good game and C9 just had a really good game versus C9,
Mhm.
as opposed to C9 just being better. Like maybe if they really start stepping up, or CL, and like TL did have a shaky-ish game against Optic, but it still didn't mean that they still didn't lose.
Yeah.
And even if they lost, I maybe only put CLG above them.
I
That'd
would
be
have
the
definitely
only
put
thing.
CLG above them if they lost to Optic and C9.
Yeah, that'd
Let's
be the only
go.
reason. But yeah,
Hey, then would we be top 10 in the world, Will?
No.
yes.
But Team Liquid would have dropped out of top 10, but you guys
I'm putting you
would
number 1 in the world. CLG is
Thank
the
you.
best team ever.
Fun plus who?
Yeah, I mean CLG is the only team that could play freaking Caitlyn lanes apparently. Aside from like one time that TL played them after they got beat by CLG
Yeah.
with Caitlyn.
I don't know why TL doesn't play more. It's so dominant, especially.
I don't know why anyone doesn't play it more.
Stixay is just like the best Caitlyn, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's also true. Oh, I will say that C9 did play Caitlyn in Academy when they started Deftly. They played like Caitlyn Morgana, and they just like took like the freaking first turret within like 10 minutes.
Yep. It's so abusive.
But then again, they all in their last game of the Academy before like the regular season, I think they already clinched first place. They actually played an all pirate comp.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Got to get that
They played-
gold.
Yeah, it was Gangplank, Graves, Twisted Fate,
Like,
Pike support, and Misfortune.
nice. I love it.
It was like the biggest fiesta, and then they won with it.
See, there you go.
And then they did a post game interview, and they just had like golden glue on Skype or something, and he came on with a pirate hat and an eye patch.
That's
this-
amazing.
And they said that they were actually just like prepping. They were like prepping stuff. They were actually playing like TFT like in the loading time.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. All right, let's
They
get.
can't-
I was gonna say, let's get to our predictions. Week 9 predictions. We have
Oh man,
game number 1. Brian, since you said that you're gonna lead the charge, do you have the games up right now?
Hold on, let me pull it up. I
I
did.
will say this: I had to go back and edit my notes because once again they changed the schedule.
They did.
Oh,
But
they did?
I made sure that they were right this time.
Yes, they're on. They changed the
They should
schedule
be
all
up
the
to
time.
yeah, they should be up to date as of today.
All right, as
Okay.
of the LoL
Yeah,
esports.
they had on the second day they moved the Fox FlyQuest game. My guess is because if there are tiebreakers, that game literally means nothing. Because I think it
Wait.
was like the second or first game initially.
Yeah, because
Okay.
TSM Team Liquid was supposed to be the last game.
All right,
Yeah.
I have it up on. Okay, so it's CLG Optic, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going CLG.
Oh, okay.
What?
I don't
How
really
dare
have
you.
much more to say. The CLG's looked great, and I'm happy with the team. And I'm gonna spoil my next pick. I am picking them twice this week.
Ooh, shocking.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yes, I
look
know.
at this
I'm,
I
guy.
know.
I'm okay with taking Optic
I,
in this game. I don't think it's the worst upset I'm gonna
Yeah.
have this
It's not.
week.
I think, man, you gotta believe in Arrow and Big.
Against
Gotta
TC
believe in them.
Biorush.
That's gonna be a
You're making
spicy.
them
That's gonna
doubt
be
it.
that's gonna be a spicy bot lane. Arrow and Big. Hey, Arrow and Big were beating the hell out of Double Lift and Core JJ. They might be
They
the
were.
best bot lane in the world.
I mean, they are, but
It's
Big
Big
true.
is at least the best support in the
He,
universe.
he is. He
Thank
is.
you.
Arrow's just not as good in an A, so it averages out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The former
Um,
NA LCS MVP.
I did just realize. I mean, barring a miracle, I won in A, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So you're 2-1 now.
Hell yeah.
I'm 1-2.
I'm just happy I got a 50% prediction rate every single week that I was here.
There you go. Yeah, you're 6-4, 8-2, 7-3, 6-4. That's the way to go. Since
Yeah.
you've been here, you've beaten Brian by 2 points. So you're on. If you
Hell
start
yeah.
from week 5,
I
you'd
dropped
be in the lead.
I dropped the B. It was just dead weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. To be fair though, hey, two of those losses that I have, and I think they were both in the 6 and 4 weeks, were C9 beating Team Liquid.
Nice.
So I'm willing to take those losses.
Yeah, for sure.
In my predictions.
Who do you have for this game between CLG and Optic?
I have CLG as well. I feel like Optic definitely has a chance. No, I'm saying Optic definitely does have a chance this game. I feel like it's a lot tight. I feel like it'll actually be somewhat tight. Like you said, going back to power rankings, you have Optic and 100 Thieves, and those are the most teams playing CLG this week.
Mhm.
God dang.
I think-
Well, let's go ahead.
I do think both of those teams have similar win conditions, some actually pretty similar styles for the most part. But I think just like in both cases, CLG will both have an advantage in both games. I think CLG just take this. I feel like they actually play smarter. If TL can come back versus Optic, CLG can too.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, Will, for a week where you have to just pick the opposite of me, it's not the worst
It's not
day.
the worst. It's
It's
not
not.
the worst.
Besides Echo Fox Liquid, which who knows? I mean, Echo Fox does hold that head to head.
And TSM Liquid.
That one's further
That-
left too.
I mean, let's be
Eh.
fair with the way they've
Yeah,
looked and how
that's-
Well,
Fox played TSM.
It could be Team Liquid Academy. If Team Liquid beats Echo Fox, I think they clinch
my
first
God.
place. So it could be Team Liquid Academy.
No, what if Team Liquid Academy plays Echo Fox?
I get to use my mulligan then, right?
Nope.
I haven't used one all year.
Yeah,
No,
no,
dude, you gotta
none of us have.
believe in Jenkins, man. Jenkins and Insanity are like legit. They're actually really good.
Who do you have in C9 versus Golden Guardians?
I gotta go C9. I don't really feel confident about this one because I think it's gonna be a good game.
I
But
think Golden Guardians this one. I feel good about that one.
yeah, but I mean, I think C9's like a better team overall.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. It's just like
I mean, I want to believe that too.
they're so crazy right now. Like you'd never know what's gonna happen. Like
They
they beat
are.
Liquid.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the best team in NA. But like look at the game before that. It's like
They lose to Fox and FlyQuest. Oh, they're the worst
Yeah.
team in NA.
yeah.
I actually, believe it or not, have Golden Guardians this game.
Ooh.
I've been burned too many times by Saturday C9 where they just randomly come out and they just have this weird showing and they end up getting punched in the mouth, either trying something new or doing a roster swap or just look like they're just not playing well or playing smart. Like Sven would just randomly be inting which is not what you want to do. And I feel like, especially Golden Guardians themselves, actually have been looking good, and I think they match up to C9 really well. Like their solo laners probably can match up Froggen and Haunter. Haunter especially, I think he's been laning really well. I don't think Licorice is going to get as much of a lane presence on him. And Contracts is going to look to play around them. He'll probably be willing to play around them more than even Sven has. And then, see, like if you ever want to talk about a lane that can punish FBI and who he like Double F and Core JJ did when they just smashed him to hell, C9's bot lane is probably not the one to do it.
That is true.
And I think that if it goes down to Froggen getting a goofy pick, and then they just kind of get into the late game, and C9 has to make a decision and kind of work around these champions they may not be familiar with, it may just end up being like the first time they played Golden Guardians, and Golden Guardians will just end up winning.
I didn't really watch many games this week because I was busy. But have they been playing Olay or Huhi?
Huhi.
Huhi?
Yeah, and Huhi. Olay hasn't played in a long time.
Rip.
Which is weird.
Yeah, the other thing I will mention too, because they did make the swap between C9 and Golden Guardians, and they have Deathly, and then they have Keith on Golden Guardians.
I swear, if they play Deathly,
Deathly versus his old team,
they're gonna do some stupid crap.
I feel like it, and that's the sad thing is I feel like that it is not outside the realm of possibility of that being the case.
Reaper's gonna go full anime and be like, "Avenge yourself."
And then Golden Guardians is like, haha, you thought that you were going to play FBI.
Yeah,
the guy who replaced you, but here's Keith.
Yeah. and then Golden Guardians is gonna win, and the real Vengeance, whatever, you know what I mean, is gonna be in playoffs. So I'm just gonna lose this match. But yeah, I'm sticking with C9.
Next game.
Real revenge.
Next game is like game of the week because it's the most important between Clutch Gaming and 100 Thieves.
And they're both tied with each other.
Both tied. Absolutely.
Honestly,
loser gets eliminated from playoffs.
This game means a lot for, like the league scene as a whole in NA. But, the next game actually means most for me because I'm hoping FlyQuest can pull out the dub. But anyway.
I want them so bad to win. It would make my day so much.
You do, Brian. If you're going for the TSM playoffs, you need 100 Thieves to beat Clutch Gaming because Clutch Gaming went. Oh no, I was lied to. I forgot. Reddit lied to me.
No, you lied.
Reddit is.
I think 100 Thieves did beat TSM.
They did beat TSM. They
did beat them one.
Just last
just
yesterday or Saturday.
I mean, like in terms of their record, they're just 1-1. They're like they're not 2-0 versus TSM. But
so
if TSM loses this,
TSM.
Clutch did.
I think this will just be a good game overall. I mean, Huhi versus Fake God. Fake God's been showing up, so that's good. Mm-hmm. You never know what Huhi's gonna do.
Oh, sorry.
What?
TSM won both times against Clutch Gaming. Once
did they?
And twice. Yep, they're 2-0.
So I'm going 100 Thieves.
Yep. So Clutch Gaming cannot eliminate the TSM. It has to be 100 Thieves. So that makes Brian's vote easier, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna pick 100 Thieves anyway. Honestly.
Yeah, I have 100 Thieves in this game. I feel like Clutch could definitely be better, especially now that they kind of stabilize themselves a little bit more. But I think 100 Thieves just been a lot smarter in a lot of their mid to late game decision making, so they can kind of just control the game. If Clutch try to play it out, be real scrappy like they are, if they do make these sloppy mistakes in closing, even if they are ahead, like they did versus FlyQuest, I think 100 Thieves could take a lot more off of that and punish you.
Yeah.
So even if they get ahead, they can still win.
I agree. So Brian, who's your next? Oh, go ahead.
So I was saying, well, the real dream is that, I guess that's not really the dream because TSM has 9 wins. So yeah, I need Optic. Just kidding. I was gonna say that Optic or whatever losers in Clutch can make it too, but I really don't want TSM in there. But yeah, it wouldn't happen anyway. My next pick.
This is the dream.
You're hoping.
Honestly, it's not necessarily. You said that last week against 100 Thieves, and I disagreed with you, and they destroyed TSM.
All right. You're baiting me, man. I'm going FlyQuest.
It's not that big. I'm honest. I would probably pick FlyQuest the way how bad TSM has looked right now.
But it's FlyQuest.
It is
It's like the
FlyQuest.
team who
They are
should be
out, so
way
it
better than
depends.
they are. Yeah.
Ryan.
He's
As much
going
as I want it to
TSM.
happen,
Uh-huh.
I have to pick TSM. I feel like Fly. If Fly's in a position like Fox was versus TSM, I think Fly just straight up beat TSM then. Because I think they've been a lot more clean if they managed to get a lead and can kind of just run it down through team fights with higher damage numbers and more items.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't trust them to get that much of a lead because
Especially
of
in a game that doesn't
Santorin.
matter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Santorin's
especially because if it doesn't matter, maybe Santorin actually tries to play like he did versus C9 and actually do something early game, and they win because of that. I think maybe Viper has the potential to smurf on Broken Blade. Pobelter versus Bjergsen, can't really comment too much on that. Wild Turtle is playing his old team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's something there.
It's kind
But
of long gone now. I feel like
yeah,
it's been a while.
I'm saying maybe something there, just a little last shot of revenge. But yeah, I don't see it happening. As unfortunate as it is, I think TSM. I had to favor TSM to edge out in this game.
Game number
I
5.
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
I think TSM's gonna win, but I'm picking what I want because I feel like I'm safe enough in the lead.
Yeah,
It
you
can't happen.
literally have to. As long as you don't go 0-10 or 1-9 this week, you're fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
It
I mean,
has never
I
never
joined in like
happened.
halfway. I joined in like halfway through the split. Technically, I don't have to be trying in these ones. I don't know why. I'd want TSM to lose,
I
but
think it's all of
I'm just
our
afraid. But then
rivalry with
again, I wanted
TSM.
C9 to beat FlyQuest, and apparently they can't do that.
If you think about it, you have a C9, a CLG, and a TL fan. Obviously, all pretty much
We all
rivals
want
with
us to win.
TSM, so we all
Let's
want to
all
see
win.
TSM
All the
lose.
blue teams.
Yeah.
All the blue teams let's all just be the one seed in NA and go to
Speaking of
Worlds.
blue teams, Echo Fox versus Team Liquid. Brian, your first pick. I just want you to know that Echo Fox did beat Team Liquid before.
That's right, but I'm still gonna go Team
Oh,
Liquid.
damn
Yeah.
it!
I just
Solo-
believe in I
It's like
believe in that
Solo isn't
comeback.
playing this game, dude.
I believe in that comeback story. So
Oh man, the underdog Team Liquid.
yeah, gotta settle the score.
That plucky new kid on the block.
Uh-huh.
I picked Team Liquid for you already, Ryan.
Oh yeah, well yeah, don't worry, that's accurate.
I mean,
Oh.
I did pick Team Liquid.
You should technically pick Team Liquid for this one too. Like,
listen. There's a lot of hope there. There's a lot of raw talent there with Mike Young, Laurel.
Oh my god.
actually, he's been in the league for a while. I don't know where the talent
Listen. He's from Team Liquid Academy from earlier this year. He went to.
went. He's from Phoenix One.
Hey, Mike Young went
He
to
was on
MSI
TSM.
finals. Mike
Yeah,
Young
he
is an
was the
MSI
TSM.
finalist.
He was the TSM spicy pickup that Reginald
Yep.
did not regret.
Yep. And then,
High tempo jungle.
but hey,
Yeah.
he's an MSI finalist.
Second best in Italy on his team.
He's an MSI finalist, and he's going to win.
He's an MSI finalist because he was a sub.
For Xmithy, who's also an MSI finalist. And
It's because they didn't want to bring Joey this time.
listen, Xmithy's brain is gonna explode by trying to outthink of what Mike Young is doing, and then they're just
His brain's going to explode just from trying to recognize just how dumb this dude is.
yeah, and then he won't be able to play because his brain's exploded, and then maybe they can win in a 4v5, maybe.
Oh god! Unless friggin' literally Apollo and Hakuho just smash the living hell out of this game, I still think TL wins even if they do that.
Yeah, it's not. That one's gonna suck
Yeah.
for me. Next, we have Optic
Hard
versus
pill to
C9.
swallow.
Brian, go ahead.
This one is really weird because I don't know how I feel about Optic because they're on a slide, but I've also really shaken on C9 and picking C9 to go 2-0 is not really how I think it's gonna go.
And
I mean, you're kind of splitting the
hypothetically,
difference because
hypothetically,
like
C9 should be done. Like no way to move up, no way to move down after that this game.
That's true.
yeah,
You want me
if
to
it
pick
plays out as
Optic.
expected
I do.
with CLG and TL winning.
But I'm also stating like an obvious that is a fact as well. This game could not matter.
Who has the head to head in this one?
Optic C9, C9 does. They're 1-0. They
Okay.
were the first team that beat Optic when they were 4-0.
Okay. I'm gonna go C9 again.
Mhm. I will say, by the way, it is possible that C9 catches CLG. If CLG drop a game and
It is.
C9 go 2-0,
That's what I'm
they,
saying.
they play a tiebreaker.
But it will be known before this game starts.
Yeah.
It will be known
Yeah.
before the first C9 game because CLG plays before them.
Oh no! I mean, like even if CLG beats Optic, if they lose to 100 Thieves the next day and C9 go 2-0,
Oh yeah, you're right.
they'll both be 12-6.
Okay, you're right. You are right.
I mean, technically, it's possible for C9 to finish first if TL drops both games.
Yeah, it is possible. I don't think that'll happen. Again,
It's
you guys are
hilarious.
relying on Mike Young here. Take
Hey,
that.
I'm not relying on. Hey man, I ain't relying on shit. I didn't pick Fox to win.
Shut up. Did you have C9 or Optic?
I have C9.
All right.
I feel like it's like I said, it's one of those things where C9's probably might goof around on Saturday for some reason, and then get their head in the game and actually like play well and beat Optic the next day. But again, I never try to count out Medios versus C9. Like he seems to always play well. I just remember him freaking hard smurfing on us versus on Olaf. I don't remember if it was last. I think it was last split
Was it when he's
in
on
spring
100
where
Thieves?
he had like one game where he played Olaf and he was just freaking just killing everybody. He was just like hard camping top,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went down and killed Sneaky for old time's sake. But I think C9 pulled it together and actually get a win and get their confirmed third seed with this game. Spoilers for my next two picks, by the
way. Next is 100 Thieves versus CLG. Brian, I'm assuming you got CLG.
Yes, I do.
I mean, he spoiled it earlier.
Yep, and you also have CLG with that spoiler, right, Ryan?
Yes.
You have CLG as well?
Same reasons for if Optic could beat CLG, but same reasons for why I don't think Optic is going to beat CLG.
Mm-hmm. 100 Thieves, you mean?
No, I meant like same reasons that Optic wouldn't beat CLG is the same reasons why I don't think 100 Thieves will beat CLG.
Got it.
It's a chance, but it's like maybe like 30% at best.
Next is Team Liquid versus TSM. Does anyone believe in the late end of the season playoff buff by TSM?
I mean, if TSM pull this off, man, I'm worried about them in playoffs. But that's the only reason why. But I still definitely not in this game. Not with the ATLs playing.
I mean, great job by the Riot script writers scheduling this hype matchup for the end of the season. So I'm going Team Liquid.
They had a lot more faith.
Yeah, for sure. You knew Team Liquid was probably going to be up there. You probably figured TSM was going to be up there with how they pushed Team Liquid to the very brink. But just
I mean, the first game of the season was all TSM versus Team Liquid.
Yeah, and Team Liquid blew them out, and I was stunned.
Exactly. I feel like it's going to go a similar way.
Yeah, the TSM's worse now, and Team Liquid's better. Not on MSI Hangover.
Yeah, we're gonna go full circle.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Clutch Gaming versus Golden Guardians.
I just realized something about my picks on day 2. I'll mention it later.
Are you 100% blue side or red side?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have Clutch this game.
I have Golden Guardians.
Oh, Golden Guardians. Okay, why do you have Clutch, if I may ask? Because I'm having Clutch, and give me some confidence for it.
Yeah, I feel like Clutch this game. I feel like it's going to be. I don't know why. Honestly, I just feel like Clutch.
Mathematically out, according to your picks before this.
No, I don't think they actually are mathematically out.
They would be because you would have had them out. That you would have had 100 Thieves beating them and Golden Guardians beating C9, so they would have.
Not with this game, because 100 Thieves would win and then lose to CLG, They would be 8-10.
You're,
And then Clutch beating Golden
But-
Guardians would also be 8-10.
But 100 Thieves beat them,
did 100 Thieves
so
beat
I guess it'd be
CG
a
2-0?
tiebreaker.
Yeah, and then also Optic also drops 2 games this
Ooh,
week.
okay, yeah.
They
There
all-
you go.
This is why I didn't want to give you my predictions, by the way, Will.
Yeah.
Because
set
I picked
up.
Clutch. I played Clutch both because I feel like they can pull this one out. I feel like
They have to
it's
legitimately clutch it out though. Like
Yeah, they're
not
like
making
they're
a pun.
like
You
they're
were making
like
a
I know
pun.
Golden Guardians is going
I
to be
was.
playing for it because either way, I think Golden Guardians, if they win this one, they actually end up tie with TSM. I think they'll both be 10-8. I'm not sure what the head to head there is, but I feel like they will have less to play for. Even losing this game, they still end 9-9, and they actually will be 5th place.
Ooh, nice.
But Clutch will have everything to play for this game, and they have been looking solid. And I think they've been a lot more. They've been a lot better, more proactive. Whereas Golden Guardians are still sometimes prone to really volatile and bad plays early on. I definitely think the Golden Guardians are probably more favored. I'd have them above them in my power rankings for a reason. But I feel like if there's ever a time for Clutch to
Don't
like
make it. Don't
actually
make that pun.
finally to kind of like finally jump into their potential as a team,
There you
this
go.
is the game to do it.
There you go.
I mean, they kind of did that the last time I picked them, and no one believed in
They
Clutch.
did. You did. You are absolutely correct.
They had a standard draft, and they just kind of smashed.
So, final game to wrap up the podcast, Brian. Echo
Yay.
Fox versus FlyQuest.
The
Give
match
FlyQuest,
of the
I'm
week.
not-
no,
I-
no. give me a. Don't
No,
make me pick
FlyQuest.
a
I am not picking that trash team while they have Mike Young in their jungle. I feel bad for most of them, but
I
They
feel
have-
bad for 3/5 of that team.
Mike Young is doing a Nautilus cosplay because he's a freaking anchor for that team. Not in like he's holding them down. He's like dragging them down. He's the anchor, and they're over the Marianas Trench.
They just keep sinking.
It's been very bad. It's been very, very bad.
That is a FlyQuest pick for me, by the way. All my day 2 games are on our red side.
Yeah, I just
Which
want to
if
say.
If NA is to go by, that's probably not the best strategy because apparently NA red side is really bad win rate.
Can can I get a? If I go 8-2 this week and the only losses I lose are Echo Fox and Multi, I'm gonna be pissed.
Turns out this game did matter for
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah. Oh. All right. With that though, that will be the podcast. So
Yeah.
that's the end
Oh,
of the
oh, that-
regular season.
yeah. Technically, that actually won't be because
Oh,
after these games, if
possible
my
tiebreaker.
if my predictions came through,
Mhm.
it would actually end up being a 3-way tie in 6th place for 100 Thieves, Clutch, and Optic
Yeah.
at 8-10, and they're all 1-1 with each other, meaning that they have to actually play 2 more tiebreaker games.
Yeah. So with tiebreakers, what we do usually is I'll message Brian real quick on Discord,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, tiebreaker, get your predictions in," and then I'll put them in on the thing, and then we'll
yeah.
just have them down here.
Oh, and I'll be sure to send it to you if it happens. Like,
yeah, for sure.
these ones are definitely a long shot. It's banking on a lot of things
yeah,
on
you
my
need, you
side.
need like 6 games to go right.
But I actually did straight up do the math, like going back to like I don't know what was it. I think it was week 3 or 4 when you guys did the strength of victory score comparing a lot of the top
yeah.
teams.
Oh, that was so much math.
I actually did strength of victory score for
Oh.
100 Thieves, Clutch, and Optic
Who is the best?
because they're all 1-1 with each other. That's the way they have to determine the tiebreaker. And just a quick heads up: 100 Thieves, they beat C9, and obviously all of them beat the 6th place team twice because they beat each other once
Mhm.
apiece. 100 Thieves also beat Fox and FlyQuest both twice, and they beat TSM and C9. Their strength of victory is 15.5. Clutch, they beat the 6th place twice, FlyQuest and Fox twice, and then Golden Guardians twice. So their strength of victory is 15. But Optic, they beat the 6th place twice. They beat Fox and Fly once each. They beat TSM twice, Golden Guardians, and CLG. So their strength of victory is 21,
Wow.
which means the tiebreaker matches would actually be 100 Thieves versus Clutch,
Uh huh.
and then the winner of that would play Optic, with 100 Thieves getting side selection in the first game because
Interesting.
by .5.
By 0.5. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
In which case I actually picked 100 Thieves to beat Clutch, and then Optic to beat 100 Thieves and be the last seed into playoffs.
I'll just write that down right here.
If I somehow predicted all of this, I won an award.
There you go. Tweet it out. You have proof now.
I have it all down.
Dude, trust me, I'm already
It's on the
already
podcast.
prepping. I gotta go back and find which podcast it is for Brock's sneaky retirement. I'm prepping that. That will be on Reddit, and that better blow up. If I get 0 views or upvotes, I'm gonna be pissed because Brock predicted that back in January. That deserves some.
I'll put it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that will be the podcast. Thank you guys for coming to watch. Tomorrow we'll be doing the LCK, and we had some crazy games this week for there. That's a little bit of a shake-up, but not too much, I don't think. Janair is still in dead last, surprising, I know. But with that, thank you guys for coming to watch, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.